Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see if we have sound here. Let me just double check. Yep, I hear me. I hear me. TGIF. If I didn't say it, I said it again. Oh, did I say that? Did I say that out loud? There we go. TGIF. And the numbers are rolling out. May jobs report. And equity markets are firming up still. And Dow Jones is up about 350 points, 360 points now. And we'll see what the 375 points now. Just rolling with the homies. And let's see what else we got going on here. 3.9 million. I think they were expecting 8.7. Again, V bottom. We've talked about this. Let's see. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 450 points now. It's a horse race. Coming around the far corner. Dow Jones, 416 points. Moving with the nose ahead, 434 points. 428. Rock and roll. All right. What do we see going on with the euro here? Let's go to the euro. We'll go into J4X, and we'll take a peeky peek at that. There is the euro. Okay, so they knocked it down a little bit. I don't know how much. That's not a lot, I don't think. Oh, they took it up to 1390 in this little dash to the excitement. And J4X is loading up as we speak. We'll see it here in a second. Do I have something? Yeah. Okay. Let's just try another one of these for the moment. Okay, it's getting close. But you can see it on J4X just trading underneath the 113s. Okay, there it is. And let's just take a quick look at what like the last 5 minutes look like. See if we can see what they did is they got excited, took it up. They were like probably excited about what we've talked about always on this broadcast, and that is that if America gets rolling along, and I guess they were anticipating the 8.7, possibly something like that. Dow Jones Industrial Average now over 500 points up. Can anybody say V bottom? That's it. Doc here in the V bottom. I mean, it was so obvious. I don't understand it. You know, if you're that nervous about a market, you buy the equities, you sell the calls 6 months out, you buy the puts, use the money from the calls. Remember now, call is a long option or the opportunity of buying a stock option, or currency option or whatever. The call is the buy. So when a product goes up in value, the call goes up in value. When the market goes down, the call goes down in value. But there's the mirror image of it, or the North Pole, South Pole of it, however you want to describe it. And that is that the put, or what is really the sell option, or the short option, whichever way you want to describe it, but that's what it does. When the product goes down, the put makes money. And vice versa, obviously, is the call or the long option loses money. Okay, so one is the long side, one is the short side. All right, now what you can do with these is like anything else in the marketplace. You can buy and sell a call or the long side, or you can short it, and vice versa on the mirror image side of it, like the magnetic characteristic of it all, just like an electron and a magnet, and North Pole and a South Pole, the whole bit. And what it does is the same situation, and that is you can buy to go short, or you can sell to basically go long with a put. In other words, it's just like the short side. Now, I guess that probably messed up everybody's head right there. But in the end result is that the put, when the product goes down, the put makes money. Now you can be shorting that, which makes you into a long, which is crazy. A short and a short. Was it two negatives make a positive? I guess you could say. That's exactly what it is. It's just like physics, identical to physics. That's the most complicated part of it all. That's it. Nothing more than that. Something goes up in value, the call goes up in value. Something goes down in value, the put makes money. It goes up in value. Okay? And to hedge your portfolio like an insurance structure, you sell a far out call of 6 months. You take that money that they gave you and you protect it with the insurance policy on the downside. And so, boom, done, over. You don't have to worry about it. So, you risk maybe 3% or 5% overall in the wrong side of it and losing, and potentially make the same on the upside of it. So, in the end result is, if the stock market falls, like you see these predictions of 50%, or currency is going to go fall 30%, like 54 is saying all the time, like he figures that the euro should be much lower, and I agree with that. Marcella, how you doing? TGIF to you. Hey, Robin, how you doing? And that's the option of it all. Okay, and see, what are we seeing here with the stock market as we talk about all this? Let's remove that. You see the euro is slowly inching its way back up. Let's see. Let me take a look at again with the stock market here. Let's take that and move it. I know it is. We can move that up there. I guess we'll just make it smaller. That's all. There we are. And let's take that and move that there. And Dow Jones up 600 points. Can anybody say V bottom? Let's see, where is NASDAQ? NASDAQ is fighting its way, trying to get back up to all-time highs again like it hit yesterday. Dow Jones Industrial Average heading for that 2,700. We're looking for a range. We've actually posted the range now over on another venue. I think I probably mumble it here once in a while, but I actually have it written down, and it's actually posted now. The bottom of the range was the 26,400 area, or 350, I believe it is. And I believe the high end of the range is 27,800 or 650 or something like that, or 600. And we figure that's what's going to happen. It's going to trade inside that range. And then, we need to see the economy open. We definitely need to see how things are going to progress. Because, remember, the economy is closed, like we talked about yesterday. Matter of fact, what was our title yesterday? I think it was called The Market is Not the Economy, or Is the Market the Economy? It's just a slice of it. It's a tranche like anything else. It's descriptive. Is employment a part of the economy? Sure. Is the stock market part of the economy? Sure. Is the currency market part of your economy? Most definitely. Is the metals market or any of that other stuff, raw materials that are needed for industrial growth? Sure. Is good government allowing companies to be in business and grow and evolve and compete a part of the economy? Definitely. And is bad government a part of the economy also? Most definitely. If they limit the opportunity, then you get buckus. Okay, where is the S&P 500 now is trading at 3157. The all-time high is 3230 or something like that. So let's go take a look at that on J4X. And anybody have? Let's see. What caused that V, Doc? Let's see. Let's answer that at the same time. What caused the V bottom? The economy was shut down temporarily, and so they knocked it down extreme. The virus scared everybody, put greater pressure on volatility. You know how I just described options at the very beginning of this webinar? Well, what happened was there were about 5 solid firms. And what those 5 solid firms were doing was they were selling, you might remember hearing this description, the Fed put, and people would write about the Fed put option, okay? So in other words, the Fed was protecting the markets. And so what happened was with the virus, people went in and, funds got nervous and with good reason. There was going to be a shutdown of the economy, and they still sold. And that's a good 3 or 4 or 5,000 points off the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But the rest of it, for it to fall all the way down to 18,500, was option volatility funds, and there were 5 major ones, out there selling billions and billions and billions of dollars of option volatility. And they'd been doing that for like 9 years. And you would hear the Fed put. And I guess people would say, what does that mean, really, the Fed put? And what it really meant was that the Fed was protecting the markets. And so the volatility funds, because we have a very irresponsible Commodities Futures Trading Commission here in the United States, and we have an incredibly, even worse, Securities Exchange Commission, they allowed these things to have like 10-to-1 ratios and 20-to-1 ratio margins, right? They were just allowing this stuff to just be margined at the most absurd level. And maybe Mrs. Bernanke? It really didn't escalate until what was her name? Yellen. Mrs. Yellen became Fed Reserve Chair, and when she became Fed Reserve Chair, there was no control whatsoever of stopping irresponsible activity. She just allowed them and did not enforce it. And when Mr. What was his name? The one we have now came in, he didn't do anything really that much. He tightened up a few things. There was a couple of rules tightened up, but not much at all. They really didn't protect the investor whatsoever. And you would assume that they would know better. You would think that the Federal Reserve understands what a call is and a put and the amount of risk that was being taken, but they didn't do anything about it. And the Securities Exchange Commission did zero about it. And the Commodities Futures Trading Commission did zero about it. And so what happened was the only way you can hedge short volatility options, okay, playing the short side to the options, is the only way you can hedge that volatility is to sell the product short. So in other words, you had to sell stocks short and stock indices short. You had to sell them short and not care what you sold them for. There was no overbought or underbought, or oversold situation. No oversold, no overbought situation whatsoever. So in other words, you sell at the market and you don't care what you get for it. In other words, what the bid is. And so what happens naturally in this type of market, just lower your bid. And so they're out selling, and the Dow Jones is going up and down like 1,000 points at a shot, and you get this wild ride. You have 2,000-point days. And you're not, for a long while, our media was so excited when we had a 100-point down day. They thought the world was coming to an end. Well, you combine that with the insanity, because they're just as irresponsible. Where's our Fed, our federal FCC, the Federal Communications Commission? Where are they at on fairness? In other words, how come are they allowing these nutcases to be talking heads on financial markets and not enforcing that? And why isn't the Securities Exchange Commission? Is the First Amendment protecting them, I guess? Well, then why do we even have a Securities Exchange Commission? Why do we have a Commodities Futures Trading Commission? Why do we even have a Federal Communication FCC and a Federal Communications Commission if they're not going to do anything? I mean, is it just political jobs, nothing more? Sounds like it to me. So the V-bottom was created is because those volatility funds went out of business, and they lost billions and billions and billions of dollars from it. And once they went out of business, I was here on the webinar telling everybody that now that they're out of business, we're going to see a bottom come in. And we're going to see some type of V-bottom out of it. Some of it's going to go all the way back up to all-time highs. Some stuff's going to go probably like, 78% to it or 62% to it, depending on how damaged the industry group was. Now, was the high-tech, 100 from Dukascopy, was that going to be hurt the most? No, it was the opposite. This was catering to their industrial, policies. Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Google. These companies thrive on the modern marketplace, and so as everybody was locked in, they benefited. So they were able to be the first to go to the top of their all-time highs, which happened yesterday. Now, when you take a look at the some of the other products, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the S&P 500, or the Russell, they had a little bit tougher issues. because they weren't able to. Boeing went from $300 a share to $40 a share. So it's going to take a while for those companies to get going again. And there's going, the question of air travel. I saw a headline today. It said they're going to remove the center seat now from airplanes. So that means that the expense of the airplanes are going to go up even more in a sense, or let's say air flight is going to go up more. So, companies, not all companies benefit. Amazon went to all-time highs from all this. Apple's back to all-time highs from this. Facebook is not. Microsoft, I think, went up to all-time highs from this. Some of these companies went up to all-time highs and went further because this was their industrial group. Cisco Systems did better. Intel was starting to do better. Things like that. And so that's why we had a V bottom. The volatility option traders who sold billions upon billions of dollars and made billions of dollars throughout the last 9 years gave it all back over a 3 and 4 week period and then went out of business. They were closed down and shut down. So that's why there was a V bottom. Now the V in the NASDAQ, let's see. Marcella says 3161. Let me think if I can figure out what the S&P. Cool. Let's take a look at that. Let's go take a look at the all-time highs in the S&P. And I think that's pretty much the description of why we had a V bottom and why we're having a V bottom and why the markets fell so much further than they should have and in a very disorderly fashion. I can say this: the crash of '87 played out in a 3-day period or 4-day period, and the crash of 2020 played out over a 5-week period because of the circuit breaker rules that was created from the crash of '87. So that was probably the only thing that worked out well. That was New York Stock Exchange itself coming up with the policies, not the Securities Exchange Commission. The specialists wanted to find a way to not be left on the hook. And that's always what it always came down to back then in those days, is that the New York Stock Exchange specialist units wanted to know only how they could make money and benefit from the public, not take risk for it. And so there we are there. This is the S&P 500. You can see now we've gone after that top that we've talked about right there. And there it is right there. And that is the, the 3100 area. 3370, 3390. Looks like 3390 is the, wait a minute, I'm reading it wrong. 3396 looks like the all-time high in the S&P, 3396 area. So 96, so 3400, and here we are trading at 3158. So we're only 250 points, or like about 2,500 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's that. Normally that equates to that thing, but it's outperforming the Dow right now. The S&P is outperforming the Dow. The Nasdaq is outperforming the S&P, and the Russell, obviously the least of caliber of stocks and earnings, is underperforming. All the four of them. Dow Jones Industrial Average is third, and the Russell is fourth, and obviously the Nasdaq is first. And we knew that was going to happen. That was a no-brainer there. So any good money manager should be up about 25-30% for the year at this point. And any money manager that's even remotely close to minus should be retiring or go find a new job, like work at a car wash or do something of that nature, And that's where we are. Will that happen? No. They'll just find other ways to sucker the public even more. Anyway, that's where it is. I hope that answered it all. All right, now let's zip back to the euro and see what's going on there. And for 54, the euro is excited and happy is because the engine to the world economy is starting to move forward again. And that is the US of A. The most freest markets, the most freest government, the most freest of opportunity in the world. And second to none. That's basically it. The rest are just kind of stumbling and fumbling along usually. Let's see, right there. And there it is there. You can see they're trying to firm it up a little bit more in there. Not much. I mean, we're down at the lower end of the range now of the euro, hanging around that 113 area. Let's see what cable did. Excellent, Marcella. Excellent. Glad we got that through. Hope it didn't. Hope I wasn't too crazy. Doc can be kind of crazy. And ooh, nice. 126.80. Cool. Almost up to 127. Yeah, we were talking about that this week, where we thought we were going to see the 126s. Nice. Nice job. Yes, indeed. Trading in the 126.50 area. Again, there's hope and wishes that the world economy is going to get moving in the right direction. And as you can see there, cable is right there. If we can light that up. Light that up. Light that puppy up right there. We're looking at 1 week and a weekly buy. We're looking at 8 days and a daily buy. So this thing has been climbing like a rocket, like a Elon Musk rocket. And you can see right there, same situation on line 14. 2 weeks in a buy, 8 days in a buy. And that's the euro, and you're looking at the Chicago Quant Technologies algorithm of mine. And they are using the algorithm nowadays, so we use it. We call it that now. And that's where that's at. The thing is just rocking along, hipping and a hopping like a little bunny, happy along. All right, now let's see if there's anything anybody needs. Just give a yell, and if not, we can drift over to the Turkish lira. Let's see what they're doing to that. 26 weeks and a weekly buy. Whew. Holy moly, 26 weeks, half a year now in a weekly buy. I've seen some products that are in circumstances kind of like the Turkish lira. Saw Corning glassware back in 99 and 2000, and then when the internet bubble exploded, the product fell for 27 weeks. I saw Enron, the oil company, the first slice was 27 weeks in a weekly sell, and then it bottomed for a couple weeks and then turned up again. As you can see here, 677 is the bid on the J4X, and you can see our weekly sell number is right there. Let's see if we can highlight it a little bit better. Right there on the spreadsheet of 674.21. We went down to where did we go down to this week? We went down to 68.70. Where did we go to? On Tuesday, it looks like we were down to 68.60, basically 59.7. The next day, we got to 68.76. And then it's climbed back up again. And I think we're in a daily buy now too, right? Yeah, there's a daily buy. So let's see what that looks like on J4. There it is on J4X with the lines there. You can see it's moving up, and the solid line is lifting through the dotted and the rate of change there. And then let's go over to there. See how that looks. Oh, yeah, firming up, firming firm. So I guess we're going to hit number 27 today if it stays like this. And matching to Enron Corporation, the oil company that went out of business, and Corning Glassware, which is still in business. The stock had gone to like $211 a share. People were like, "What? How can this?" You know, they had everybody thought that they were going to fiber optic the world. They're number one in fiber optics. So the stock went flying all the way up into 2000, up to some crazy numbers in there like that. And then what happened was that everybody came back to reality and realized, whoa, wait a second here. And the stock fell all the way down to like $26. Can you imagine that? $26 from like 200 and change, 211 or something like that. And so that did a 27 week. And actually, I think it did two 27s. And then what Enron did, it did two 27s. And then it did like 27, then plus 3 weeks in a buy. Then it went back into 27 again. And then I think it went out of business like 5 or 6 or 7 week sell, something like that. I remember one of my partners in the hedge fund company, our data company up in Connecticut, said to me, "I'm buying Enron at 13 here. I think it's bottomed." I said, "We've just done 2 back-to-back 27 weeks in a sell. I think I would be careful here. We're 3 weeks in a sell here at 13." And like something like 2 weeks later or even less, the stock was trading at $3 a share. So I remember saying, I said, "Don't you pay attention to our numbers? What's wrong with you?" Oh my God, why are you buying that thing? Wait for it to go into a weekly buy. Oh no, I think it's going to go into a buy now. Yeah, sure. All right. Will the riots and looting impact markets? I don't think so. Once his porn movie comes out or two, and do you know that the police officer who killed the fellow up in Minnesota, they both worked as security guards together for the same company and the same for this sex trafficking uh, dance thing, type of place. I think that once that all starts to come out, this was just what we really just saw is the beginning, one of the major campaigns by the Democrat Party here in the United States for the presidency. So what it really was, all that rioting was basically just part of the Democrat Party involved in campaigning. That's part of their campaign structure, to riot and have violence and disrupt society. They don't have a candidate really that has any real gravitas. So that's what that was. And I'm hearing that the porn movie is going to come out. He served 5 years in prison for stuff. I'm told it was a mob hit. And so the police officer who's under arrest for it, who had worked 17 years for this sex trafficking nightclub, dancing hall, or whatever it's called, and that's the fellow who he killed worked there too with him. So sooner or later, that's going to, it'll come out in trial. But by then, no one will be paying attention to it because the Democrats will have some other campaign issue going on. They'll probably be like, God knows what. I don't know what they'll come up with next. But they'll come up with something else that will turn the world upside down, make everybody who cares care even more. And then that'll be about it. But I'm waiting for the sex movie to come out. I understand that he did some porn films too. So now, what would be really great is if the police officer had done some porn films with him. That would be even wilder. But I don't know anything about that. All I know is that there's talk that there is some porn films out there. But they both were... I saw a picture of the fellow who was killed, Floyd, in a shirt that said security. And I think for the last year, he's been working in that security with the police officer who killed him. So to me, it sounds like a mob hit. I mean, we know the mob is involved. So I don't know. You tell me. Oh, sure. No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. It's all over. It's up in the internet. It's just not in the media. The U.S. media is working on their campaign. It's a Democrat campaign thing. So. I mean, you can feel sorry for the guy and so forth. No problem there. It's very easy to do. But what we really saw, as far as I can tell, it may have been a live mob hit. So, yeah, it's on it's AP put it out. It's just the media's not covering it. The local media covered it. They interviewed the person who runs the place that has what is considered sex trafficking, but it's not, some type of Latino dance hall of some form that serves drinks and does things like that. And I didn't get that deep into it. But, to me, I know it's all been a joke anyway. I mean, it's a sad joke, of course. It's a dark comedy. Two security people. One kills the other one in daylight with three other officers looking the opposite way for 9 minutes. And the person that he killed is a former convict and who's working for this shady organization that does sex trafficking. And the cop that killed him has worked for that same shady organization now for 17 years. So you tell me. I don't know why. There's no reason why the media would want to tell you that, because it's part of the Democrat campaign. This is their campaign. You're allowed to campaign this way. That's what they did. Anyway, I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. But it's kind of wild. Let me see if I can get. You know what? I can put something on the chat line for you that you can start to search it out, and then you'll go like, wow, this is crazy. Why aren't they reporting it? They did report it. It's just that it's not national news or global news. It's just not that important. It was reported in Minnesota, by all their little, by their news channels, and they do the disclaimer that we don't know if they actually worked together. They just happen to be working. He worked 17 years The other guy worked almost a year. How do criminals who have been in prison for 5 years or do porn films end up in as a security guard? You tell me. If that's not mob related, then nothing is mob related. All right, here we go. I think I found it. I've posted so much about it, and I don't think anybody really cares. Here's one. This is on. Let's see. Yeah, this one. Here's one. Now, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to add the MSN.com. This is actually all. This was on MSN, whatever MSM is. Here it comes. Now, where it says EN, you have to put. What do you have to put? Let's see if I can copy the front part of it. Cut. No. Let's see. If I go like this, and I won't put the .com in. Let's see if this. They'll probably knock this off because it says MSN. So if I go like this, so it's basically this has to go in the front of it, but HTTP www blah blah blah. That's it, and then that should help you. See if they let us paste this. Yep, they let that paste there. So then what you have to do from there is just put this in front of that. Let's see. You put this in front of that, and you'll see the stories, and then they start, and you just Google. Here, I'll like that, and then they blocked that one out. And so then let me see. You can Google the dance club. What is it? Oh, wait a minute. I think I got it. No. Oh, I know it is. This is the corona. He died of. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. His autopsy report shows that Floyd had tested positive for Corona-19. Did he die of Corona-19? Or did he really die from the police officer? I mean, it was a combination, the police officer and Corona-19, right? So Floyd's death, like everything else in America, should go up as another Corona-19 death. That's what that article's about. Okay, let me find the other article where he's a security. Oh, that's got the picture of him in a security guard thing. So that's cool. You'll see that. And let's see. Does it say anything else? George Floyd. Let's see if we can find this. I think we can find one more. Doc is always factual. Doc doesn't like to make up stories. That's why we have a spreadsheet on the screen every day about the marketplace. So, documenting our wins and losses, basically. Let's see. We're getting there. I think I see it. Nope, not there. I got a good one. Trump throws garbage can through McDonald's window before before looting $2,000 in Big Macs. Trump looted a McDonald's. Far out, huh? I haven't seen that one, but that's pretty wild, George Floyd violent criminal history. No, that's another one too. That's in the New York Post, where he did 5 years of prison. Theft, firearms, drugs, the whole bit. Let's see. Where's the other one? In the end result, I don't even know if the police officer will probably get off with a lot less. Let's put it that way. So, okay, yeah. It's the Nina something another club, dance club. They're known for sex trafficking at times. So you can get involved. You can go dig that up too. That's in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities, in the capital. The NL something. Anyway, we're drifted way past it. I answered your question though. Yeah, I've answered your question. Look up the dance club. That's pretty entertaining. Where the police officer worked for 17 years. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got going on here? Here it is. Here's another. This one will get you where we're talking about. You're gonna have to go with the .com again yourself. This is off of one of the TV shows up there. TV newses. There we are. There you go. That one will get you there too. So anyway, yeah, I don't. It's just a campaign thing. It's like any campaign. Can you remember what other campaigns were after like 6 months? So this campaign was to have rioting and disrupt the country for a little while. I'm sure the Democrats will come up with something else very soon again. And so I mean, I don't take it to heart, like a lot of people do. Especially being a political hack, being a political hack. Basically, in the end result is we talk about these things all the time. So I'm the webinar. Say hello, Carl.
Hello.
There you go. Your voice just went across the planet. All right.
Pastor Rick is here, Bart.
Oh, Pastor Rick. Yo, Rick.
Hey, yo, buddy. How you been?
Oh, man. Fighting evil.
Yeah, well, that's our
Yeah. Yeah, we're fighting evil all the time. Right now, I'm passing the word along, showing the spirit of the market and the math and the Lord to the world. And at the same time, we're talking about, they asked me questions about, different things besides the markets. And I was explaining to them about this crazy situation with this poor fellow getting killed. But at the same time, he's, I don't know, Carl explained it to you better, I think. But in the end result, it looked like a mob hit.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a possession on the roof.
I will. All right, I'm going to jump off before the world gets fed up with me. Catch you guys later. I'm sorry I didn't see you, Rick. I'd like to catch up with you. That's one of the biggest pastors in this area. He's got one of the biggest churches, and I am aligned with the conservative right and the religious right. I've been that way for a long time. So there we go. All right, let's get back to the markets here. And we've answered the question to the two gentlemen who were trying to kill each other. All right, so there's the Turkish lira, and we're looking like we're going to hit 27 weeks in a weekly sell, which is pretty tenacious. Let's see. Now let's drift over to Canadian. Let's see if that's the oil. Between the oil lifting and the world economy perking up, we expect to see the Canadian move back down again. And sure enough, we are. We see CAD there on line 20 on a weekly sell now for 2 full weeks. 8 days in a daily sell. You can see it gliding down. What else can we say about this? I guess that's about it. Take a look at it on J4X. Right there's the Canadian. And the Canadian is all the way down at the bottom, and it may bang that bottom for a little while. That would not surprise me. And look at what it did on look on the J4X. Let's make J4X bigger. Look what it did with these lines here when it finally sold off, and it did sideways down. And we talked about that crazy sideways stuff for a while there, and then it went down, and it tried to come back up, and just did not really. It itself did not come back up to those highs. And then you can see even here it did not come up to those highs. Instead, it was the highs of the channel. So I guess what it'll do is it may establish itself. Let's put a line in here too. Wouldn't surprise me if it established a new channel anywhere from here, depending on how fast the world economy comes back, to here. I would say like that. And I guess if we can remove that one. And I guess we might as well remove that one. So we don't have too many lines in here. And let's remove, I guess, that one. We're going to remove the bottom one. And so we'll watch, and then I guess what we should do is we should put a new channel line up to the top right here, which seemed to establish the channel. And then we're going to remove this channel line right there. So this channel here, and now we're probably going to fall into something like this channel here. I would expect to see some bounce in here, but the more excited the world becomes that the U.S. is getting back to work, will instigate the what will it instigate? It'll instigate the uh, other currencies, the other pairs trades to be stronger, the dollar to be weaker. You'll see growth. You'll see more positiveness in those countries, that type of thing. I would imagine that's the way it's going to roll. It's going to continuously roll like that. So that is what it is. Wow, is this a TGIF? Now, the one fellow, I got him elected. He was a deputy. I told you I'm a political hack back in the old days, and I got him elected. And he was a convicted felon. Was he a convicted felon? Yeah, he was a convicted felon. But he got locked up for drugs when he was like 20 or something like that. And got convicted. I think they just expunged it. So he's but I got him elected. I was his campaign manager, him and a bunch of other people. I've been campaign managers for congressmen who got elected and so forth. Let me think. And not elected. And then his pastor, who's a good friend of ours, and he's our age. We've known him since forever. He has one of the biggest churches. He has like 3 churches, and they're enormous, thousands of membership, and very involved in politics with us and so forth. So it's kind of fun on a Friday to have that happen. But anyway, let's keep on rolling with the markets. Had to be nice and shout out to him. Let's take a look at the Swissy. Oh man, what is this thing doing? Up and down, up and down? And there's Swiss. And it's loading up. Shrink that down. You can see it's got an upwardly trend. Let's go take a look at it on our Chicago Quant algos and Chicago Quant technology. There's a Swiss right there. And then let's take a look here. Now, I think it went into the sell yesterday or the buy. What did it do? Oh, it went into the buy yesterday. Okay, so our math read it. Good. Okay, so we're in a weekly sell, but a daily buy. And so our math picked up, even with that down bar yesterday. You can see we went into a buy out of that. And you can see here on J4X, it was giving us a good warning there too at the same time that we were hitting the lows. And you can see here, I guess I didn't put the green in there. I could have sworn I put the green in there. Didn't I? I posted this yesterday. 2 days ago, I sent this chart out. Let's see if we can get it greened. There we are. And that's where we are there with this product. You can see here the white line is trying to come across the 0 line on the weekly, but it doesn't look like we're going to make it through the weekly. Our weekly number is, where is that at? Oh, we didn't even put that in, so let's put that in too. Where is that at? I have it written down. Is it there? Not there. Is it there? It's not there. I have it around. Oh, there it is. Okay. Woo. I have it on a sticky. I wrote it down because we did these numbers for everybody. 6801 is the weekly buy number. So 6801, 96, 6801. No, 6901. I'm sorry. No, not 69. 98. I'm sorry. 9801. 9801 is the weekly buy. 9801. Where is it at now? It's trading at 96 and change. There you can see in J4X there, the bigger numbers. So let's put that in there. 9801 is the weekly buy. 6801. My God. Oh my God. Got the 9 and the 6 mixed up. All right. And so that's where we are there with the euro. No, I'm sorry, with the Swiss franc against the dollar. Let's save that too. And it's going to have to do a lot more work to get into a buy, that's for sure. Save. And you can see it visually right here. It's still down. Look at that. See that right there? See how much it's down? So it's just another little bounce, little excitement with the which state? You're messing with my physics head. Altered states? Atomic level? What do you mean, what state? Oh, in the United States, New Jersey. New Jersey. I was watching a really good physics magnet monopole out of the where was it at? It was out of it was about Faraday's work, and it was out of the Royal Institute this morning. It was about 12 days. It's like 15 days old. It was really good. I recommend it. Physics of magnetic monopoles with Felix Flicker. I believe he's an Oxford PhD. And he doesn't do atomic physics. He does matter. He's into matter. So. Oh, you don't understand my system. What is 9801? Ah, it must settle tonight. It's the weekly number, and it must settle. You can go to our website. We have a lot of the answer to that one too, on how the system works. But go to. What it is that the weekly number. It needs to close over that number at 22 GMT tonight to go into a weekly buy, so that you see how it says 1 week in a weekly sell there. It's going to be 2 unless it closes above that, going in on Monday. Okay, and that's what all these numbers represent here on the spreadsheet. What they do is they represent, if they're in a weekly buy, that's what the B column is, right there. Weekly sell, day buy, day sell, and the trend price. That's what that really is the trend price and the day trend price. That's what it is. So that's how that all works. And then so what happens is that we document the signals, and so you see if we say we've been in a weekly buy for like 27 weeks or 26 weeks, like with Turkish lira, then you know our math every week keeps on reconfirming. What it does, it's a constant reaffirmation of our signal. And so we've been in a weekly buy. What is 26 weeks from now back? So what would that be? That would be so we're five months in. So December, right? So we've been in a buy since like right here on the. Let's see if we can put that line in there. We've been in like a buy for the Turkish lira since there, and each week it stays in the buy signal, and we're in a buy. Even with that topping out, we did a lot of daily sells, but we still could not fall into the weekly sell, which was really interesting, which says a lot about what's going on there. And so that's what that is. And then you can get the instructions more. It's easier than me trying to put them up on the screen here. Just go to the site that Robin put up there, and they have in how to. It explains. It's like a little ebook or something like that. It kind of tells you how to, and there's an explaining charts and all that other stuff, and it explains how the algorithm works and how our spreadsheet is documenting it every day. So, all right, let's see, where did we leave off? We left off with the Swissy, right? So let's go to. Oh, speaking of which, Robin, I'm looking at a really interesting combination: bean oil and NASCAD. And I'm going to go to NASCAD right now and the relationship. So maybe this weekend what we do is we do an article on bean oil, soybean oil, and NASCAD. So we'll do a currency and a commodity. Is that cool or what? Does that like hit both buttons? What do you think of that one, huh? Is that cool? I've been working on that early this morning. Besides watching the physics tutorial from Professor Flicker from Oxford at the. Yeah, I mean we hit both of those puppies. It's really cool, huh? Yeah. So here's the NASCAD. You can see the NASCAD has been rising, and if we could show you the soybean oil, you would find out that that has been rising also at the same time. Matter of fact, I bet we can actually. Let's see if we can put it on the algo. There it is, right there. You can see it on our algo matching up with J4X there. And then let's go and look at, this is a real exotic, isn't it? That's a really far out one. Looking for something fun for the weekend to put out into the ether. And so we're going to look at ZO. Let's go with, let's see, let's take wheat or corn or one of these things. Activate that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put ZO in there. Format, instrument. And we're going to, and they match together. And I was looking to see who leads who, which is really cool. You know? It looks like, seriously, it looks like the NASCAD leads the bean oil by a day or two, you know. But it's very fascinating. Instrument, and then I'm just gonna throw that up there because I think it's fascinating myself. Add a symbol, and that's ZL for soybean oil. That's the oil that's squeezed out of the soybean in the meal. That it turns it into the meal actually. I guess the bean is crushed, that becomes the meal. ZL, look up. Oh no, not a stock, a future. Look up. ZL. Look up. There we are. Yeah, so that's going to be the. I think that's going to be the thing we'll use for the weekend. I think that's kind of neat. This way we hit both buttons. Let's see. Let's do July. Right there. Add. Okay, and then let's go to October. Rocktober. All right. Okay. Close. And cancel. And now we go like that again. And we're going to put that in there. And so watching the NASCAD and like crude oil or bean oil are really interesting. Let's see. ZL. Go with that one. And then we'll do this bottom one. Yeah, so I mean that's Doc does all kinds of things. He's doing politics. He's doing a little religion. He's doing physics. He's doing Chicago quant concepts. He's doing it all. I was trying to relate to my math to the north and south pole of a magnet and what happens when you move clockwise with a magnet and when you move counterclockwise. Very interesting things. And I've been trying to advance my mathematics, so I end up going into some of the odder concepts that people wouldn't think about. Because basically our math is created for physics, and then physics is everything. So you can do it all. You know, you can do everything. So, all right. Let's see. Did it fill it in? Yeah, it did. It filled it in. And so let's see if we can do this. Let's contract that. Right? And then I guess we can get rid of those because they don't really count because that's from corn. We'll stack them up like in one spot or something like that. Well, there's a cell probably for sure. Hell, cell's back in here, like that, and it never even went into a buy until right there. But anyway, now let's see if we can match this up a little bit, like that. Look at that, and we widen this out, and we pull it over more, like so, like that. And maybe a little bit over more like that. And that is the NASCAD. Look at that, same pattern. I guess if we go like this, tighten this one up instead. Tighten it up? Yeah, tighten it up. There we are. Like that. There we go. And so there's the NASCAD. Let's see, let's get this up a little bit higher. So that's back to March. Okay, where's March on here? So it's like that. There we are. See that? Look at these two. See? This is NASCAD. This is bean oil. And then look at the way they both bottom and they climb. And notice the strength in NASCAD more than the bean oil, but notice they still take off. And even there, Look at that. It's doing the same launch. The dots are kind of hiding it to some extent. But look at that. We've had five green dots, nothing, and then a red dot. And out of this move here in the NASCAD. It's interesting to see how they move. Doc is always looking for correlations. I like that, Marcel. No, it's the electrons. It's the surface. It's what makes the electrons spin, and the surface that it's on, or the medium that it's on, or whatever you want to describe it, is what our math measures. And so we use that math now to measure, like, commodities and currencies and stocks and all like that, and it does the same predicting value. So that's what that's all about. It's kind of like you're doing an elliptical orbit, right? And then you have to do a parabolic math to get out of that elliptical orbit. Go, no go, NASA calls it. Yeah, there we go. Then you throw a little Gauss in there, and you're rocking. And so there we are. So anyway, that's what we got going on there. A little rocket science. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, Robin. I think it looks kind of cool. Let me see if I can tighten it up a little bit more, and then move that over. No, let's move J4X over, like that, and then widen it out just a little bit more, like that. Look at that. And that's the March right there. Same thing here. But if they both were coming off their highs anyway. See that? I mean, look back in 2000 in January. So let's look at NAS in January. See, like right there. See, they were all both up at their highs. Just like here. The only difference was that, let's see, like that. Right there. And I guess if we... So I got to go to like this. I got to move this over. There we are. That's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting products. Here to how have to go now, Doc. Okay, Marcel, you have a safe and smart weekend. Do not catch you. Yeah, I hear you. Everybody, yeah, I guess we all have to go. Anyway, this is Doc from North America having a fun Friday. We've done it all today. We've done the politics, and we've done the markets, and we've done the math, and hell, we've done it all. Oh, yeah. All right, everybody have a safe and smart weekend. We're going to call this, I had a name for this. What was it? I did have a name for this today. Why there was a V-bottom. That's what we're going to call today's title. Why Forex and equities had a V-bottom. That's what we're going to call this today. Why the V-bottom. Or Forex, equities, one or the other. I think it probably says why. I guess it has to be up front, right? Janos says to me it has to be up front. That's the way the search engines do it. So we'll say, let's see, title today will be that. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Markets are opening up. Doc from North America saying have a safe and smart weekend. We will catch you on Monday. Same time, same channel.